Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Brandon.
This is Ryan.
And this is Chad.
Welcome, everybody, back to Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame. We are on episode 16. I know we are not live now. This show was live, but we are going to be doing a little bit different. We're doing pre-recorded. So this will be out hopefully on Tuesday. So if you're catching this on Tuesday, thank you guys so much. Also, just make sure you guys know what Ryan and Chad are doing. So what are you guys up to? You guys been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, of course, we have our show Wednesday Warriors coming out every Wednesday, where we pick up whatever comes out that week. We do it every single week. We stay on top of the comic books that come out every week. We pick up the books that we like, and we share our recommendation with you guys. And then at the end of every month, we cap it off with Wednesday winners, where we give our favorite books from the month, and then our biggest loser, our biggest stinker. And on top of that, we have tons of reviews. Ryan, what was our last review?
Yeah, so between Wednesday Warriors, Chad and I kind of think of the weeks now as starting with Wednesdays, and then we kind of fill in between with a Saturday and Monday. So yeah, we got like a bunch. Look at me, but we have a bunch of fun stuff on the weekends. We, obviously with the new month, we did a Wednesday winners, some Daredevil stuff, and our last review. We kind of took this Monday off because our last review was such a titan, and we'll be talking about another titan later, but was such a titan with Daredevil by Mark Waid, the first half run. The video is 2.5 hours long.
Oh, shit.
And Chad edited that as well, so it was longer. Applauded to Chad, but
good work, Chad.
Basically, if you like kind of more podcasty styled length, not all of them are that, so don't be put off. But lengthy discussions, and in-depth looks, really breaking down the story, the characters, whatever. That's what we do in the reviews, and then Wednesday Warriors is just kind of what we like, what we don't like. So yeah,
right. So you got your fun stuff, and then you got your more serious stuff, and that is a very serious review, being 2.5 hours. But make sure you guys do check out Ryan and Chad. The links are in the description below. Just kind of piggybacking off that, make sure you give this video a like and leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts, because this is, like I said, episode 16. We will be talking about Galactus Heralds. So over the past few years, there have been 2 different Galactus Heralds written by the same writer. Okay, so this is kind of cool in and of itself, because we have the Cosmic Ghost Rider becoming the Herald of Galactus in issue 16 is really where we get to look at it, versus Thor #1. If you guys are reading that, which most people are, it's a hot book, that Thor becomes a herald, and that not spoiling the whole thing for you, because he doesn't say herald much longer, but he is a herald, so we're going to talk about it. The art in Thanos #16 is by none other than Jeff Shaw, who you can find him also working with Donny Cates over on Crossover, which is another great series. Him and Jeff Shaw also did God Country, which is also great. Heading on to that, another great series that I would heavily recommend. So we have 2 great writer and artist there, and then Donny Cates, of course, in this one with Nick Klein, this is really his big premiere book, but he's also done a few issues with Jason Aaron's Thor, and he did a lot of Deadpool. So big head out to both of these artists. So let's actually kick it off with Thor #1. Let's talk about that one, which I think most people have it more ingrained into their brain because it's so recent. This is, of course, piggybacking off of what Jason Aaron finished right after War of the Realms. So as we know, the war is over and Thor is now King of Asgard. So we're kind of dealing with that, and we're kind of dealing with like his hammer is taking us through the cosmos. Okay.
Yeah. So we start with this beautiful full page spread of Mjolnir just traveling through the cosmos. First and foremost, I love the rainbow trail that Mjolnir leaves. I think this book is so vibrant and colorful, and it's so awesome because I know Chad and I's kind of first foray and are always our first or our biggest kind of Donny Cates read has been Venom, which is such muted colors and it's the tone isn't, but it's a noir style book. horde build as well. So obviously, rain, mugginess, it's always very dark and gloomy. So it's nice to see Donny Cates in this kind of vibrant atmosphere. And that's not to say that this book doesn't get gloomy. But just seeing Mjolnir travel through these realms and Donny Cates, he describes them all. But we move through this wonderful kind of yellow realm, into this pink realm, into this forest green realm, into this into the Jotunheim,
right,
blue, and through hell. So we see kind of the picture of all the realms coming together on the second page with all these different colors, and it's really complemented by Mjolnir's rainbow handle. And we just see Mjolnir flying through the cosmos with little explanation as to where it's going. And we see, purple.
It's just out and about. Maybe it stopped to get gas.
Exactly. But then we see Mjolnir is headed for New York City.
Right.
Pick it up.
As it always has to be. It always has to be Manhattan. And so
it always has to be Tony Stark.
Yeah, and it lands, and the Avengers are mid-battle, and they're battling some giant eyeless creature who's obviously wreaking havoc in Manhattan. We see smoke coming from the island, and then Mjolnir just smashes through the monster's face, knocking its teeth out, knocking its brains out. And the Avengers, who are fighting the monster, look at it, and Iron Man looks at it, and he has a funny idea, seeing the hammer land right in front of him. And so, of course, Thor threw the hammer. It is Thor's hammer. And he's up in Asgard, and he basically threw the hammer just to show everybody who's boss. He's like, I might be king of Asgard, so I might not be the adventuring god of thunder anymore, but that doesn't mean I'm still the god of thunder.
It's like someone who turned 50. He's like, guys, yeah, I get it. I'm 50, but I can still move the way that I was when I'm 30. I'm just choosing not to.
Exactly.
That's basically what's going on. I also just want to give a quick little head nod to what this show is all about for all the new viewers out there. I didn't do this at the beginning. I think I should
probably explain the premise.
We should probably explain the premise. So every week we take 2 issues under a similar theme, similar topic, and we see which one matches that theme or topic better, right? Sorting them into Hall of Fame and Hall of Shame. Okay, so it's not based off like the key value, which one is more expensive. It's solely based off of what are the contents of this book and does it match the theme better, right? So today's obviously Heralds of Galactus. We're going to see which Herald of Galactus has the better story.
Yeah, what issue is better, basically? This is
a pretty straightforward episode. Which Herald of Galactus is better, Goldilocks or Frank Castle?
It's not one of those crazy ones where we're like, one issue may be better, but we're actually choosing the other one because of the theme. No, this is just
that was funny. That last one was funny. Yeah. So back on Asgard, Thor's just holding his hand out, obviously, because we know that's how Mjolnir is able to travel. And he's surrounded by these 2 ravens, which are actually pretty important in the book. Their sole purpose hasn't really been developed yet in Thor, but they've been there. So Donny Cates is definitely setting that up. Knowing this now when issue 15 is about to hit the shelves, we're able to look back and see like how some of these working pieces are in order. So those birds are definitely 2 of them, as they are wherever death is, basically.
And anyone who knows a lot about Norse mythology knows about Odin's ravens, who obviously Thor has inherited, just as he has inherited the throne of Asgard. But also, just like Matt Klein, the way he drew
Nick Klein,
and Matt Wilson, the way they drew Thor here, he's missing his eye, he's missing his arm. It looks like his arm is all metal. So even if you guys are just picking up this Thor book and you have no exposure to Thor whatsoever, like I have never read this is my first Thor book I've ever read, but immediately the visual cues show you that this is a battle-hardened Thor who's seen a lot, and now he's only seeing it through one eye.
He just came out of the whole War of the Realms, in which he did lose his eye. Before the War of the Realms, like leading up to it, he lost his eye.
Ironically, one of the most recent reviews that I did specifically on Chad and I's channel was on Jason Aaron's Thor, the first volume. And if we, you know, in that book, we get 3 timelines of young Thor, current Thor, and old King Thor. And within Jason Aaron, in the first issue of Jason Aaron's Thor, which was so, you know, so long ago.
2012, 2011, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I think 11. Yeah, because I think he started when Wade started Daredevil. So, like, so long ago, King Thor, the old battle-hardened kind of guy like that, the old King Thor, has exactly what this is. He has the metal arm. He has the eye patch. So, you know, this must be really good. Like, imagine you're picking up Thor #1 after finishing Jason Aaron's whole huge run on the character. You're like, all right, Donny Cates, he knows what's up. You know,
Right. This is very much like Brett Favre passing the torch to Aaron Rodgers in a sense,
yeah,
or Joe Montana and Steve Young. That's probably the better comparison,
exactly, like,
considering how Aaron Rodgers has only won 1 Super Bowl.
But like, it's basically Donny Cates knows his stuff. He's going to appreciate what came before, but he's going to move in his own direction as well. So that must have been really great to see. And yeah, it's, you know, it's classic Thor and Donny Cates, kind of just his quippy characters. He's like, I threw the hammer all 9 realms.
All 10 realms, 1 throw. Odin himself couldn't do that. And it's just like Thor's kind of way of saying, yeah, I'm better than him. Suck it.
Yeah,
that's basically it. So even the dialogue in this book is so powerful, almost as powerful as Thor. That's like kind of what Donny is aiming for. Even in all of his other books, he's really aiming for the powerful, heavy-hitting dialogue because Donny loves to work with gods. That's like Donny's MO. Like every writer has their MO. Tom King's is make him miserable, make him depressed, and rebuild them. Philip Kennedy Johnson's is writing about a father-son relationship, and Donny Cates is writing about gods because that's what Donny Cates does best. He writes gods. So
he is a god. But basically,
he's a little slim to be a god. I don't know.
He's handsome.
I mean, his John Constantine kind of a cosplay that he put out. It says otherwise.
Yeah, Donny Cates is handsome. Let's not get it twisted here. All right, we should create not Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame, Hall of Handsome.
Hall of Handsome.
Just rate the creators on how handsome.
So it's almost like King of the Court, right? I would win every episode. So anyway, continue with the story. Thor flips his hammer around after talking to Lady Sif. It's a nice shot. Enjoy your retirement. So we're really just seeing Thor's really taking a step back and kind of trying to enjoy what his life is, but he also doesn't really know. He's like, what is it to be a king, to be a god? He's like, I've already been a god, I've been a war hero, but what do I have left to do? That's just being a king. So he's kind of like questioning himself as he's walking back from the Rainbow Bridge to the Life Tree. The Life Tree is obviously where Odin has been living or ruling from for many years. So
yeah, so I just, you know, as the resident art guy here, you know, someone who doesn't even know how to draw, I love Nick Klein. You know, I hadn't heard of him before this book, but fantastic. And I feel like, along with, you know, Ryan Stegman is a great compliment to Donny Cates. And just in that shot that I just showed you, Asgard is kind of, it's not this golden city on this hill. It kind of looks like the city in Return of the King in
right.
And it's just this white, gray, and dark blue buildings. It's like whatever. It's not really that impressive. But then we see this rainbow bridge, and again, it's this contrasting thing of, you know, this rainbow bridge, and it's not, you know, this kind of like in the MCU where it's just kind of like translucent colors. It's like literally a rainbow, and leading into this bleak city. So, you know, there is some allegory there, and there's some reference, like some that is a metaphor for something.
I wouldn't say bleak as more mundane, because it's not bombastic. It's not some sort of magical place. It looks just like, you know, a 12th century medieval European city more than anything else. It's just very laid back, not very loud, and this is a place that's like the Shire in Lord of the Rings.
It's almost like a calming.
Yeah, exactly. It's not somewhere that's wicked act. It's not Manhattan, and then we see, you know, Thor. It's almost like Asgard is boring to Thor,
Yeah, and he even references it. He says, like, all I wanted was to be the king. And now that I am the king, like, I think, what is a king to a god? And that's a really interesting question, because Thor is quite literally a god. So,
Right.
like, what even is being king to someone who is already revered as what he is, and a god? So it's a really interesting conceptual question for Thor to deal with this kind of balance of power, in the sense of is king, obviously he still retains his god title, but is king kind of like this step down.
Right.
He's already a god. Has he already reached the height that he was so craving, without even knowing it, which is a really interesting concept.
Right. 100%. You know, this first step is it's really just, what does Thor have left to learn? What does he want now that he's basically achieved everything that he's wanted since War of the Realms, before War of the Realms, and throughout like the history of his character? But he's like, he's also questioning himself in this. And then we see Vogelstag coming in to address issues in Asgard that Thor just does not want to listen to. Followed by Loki also coming in, kind of like being a smartass, asking him. He's like, kind of undermining Thor, saying, "Oh, how does it feel to sit on our father's throne?" And Thor said, "He's like, I don't know. It's only mine." So they get into a little argument, and
I love the moment where, tell me, Loki, as Lord of the Frost Giants, is it no longer customary to bow when visiting
right,
foreign king? And
right,
Loki
because
just looks at him like,
after Loki killed Laufey, he is by blood Lord of the Frost Giants, which someone named Dan Kibblesmith also wrote a Loki miniseries following War of the Realms. I wouldn't read it. Save your money and your time.
But I just love the I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I just love in this panel specifically just the animosity in Loki's eyes, where
Boom.
he always it's a visual representation again of their relationship, of Loki constantly feeling subpar to his brother,
to Thor, right?
And you get the sense of these characters have a shared history. They and even the MCU did this actually pretty well. And if I'm complimenting the MCU, I mean it. This kind of they have a mutual respect for each other and a mutual bond. But that doesn't mean they're chummy best friends. Like there's still animosity between them, as there is with all brothers, but certainly between Loki and Thor. And just, Donny Cates, we did the Loki book for Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame, the Vote Loki. And that one, and Chad and I talk about this all the time, that one panel of Loki's look of animosity does more for his character than that entire book. I'm even willing to wager that in the series. So like a lot of the problems, Chad and I have specifically with modern comics is some writers can do in one panel what others can't do in an entire book.
Right. Or I would even say some artists are able to achieve a certain kind of dynamic too. It's also about who's drawing your book, right? Because the writers are writing the dialogue, they're writing the scenes, but it's the artist who's making those facial expressions and making them come alive. So I would say that Nick Klein really has a good understanding of Loki's position right now, and where Loki is and what he's doing. Also, then Donny Cates also trying to implement what Thor is also struggling with through Loki, is that the hammer is getting heavier, which Loki points out. Kind of like, because he's very smart. Loki's always aware of his surroundings, so he's able to just look and say, it's getting heavier. I don't recall you grunting when you go to pick it up. So Thor throws his hammer at Loki, and Loki just like kind of shields himself, but Thor controls Mjolnir enough so it doesn't hit him. Just like another kind of like Thor putting Loki back in his place, like, not to question me because I'm the king. But then we see Thor kind of venturing out, and we seeing Asgard getting attacked by none other than Galactus in this beautiful double-page spread of Galactus coming down, just really in agony, which you never really see Galactus in agony like that, other than in the other book we're going to discuss, where you kind of see it a little bit. He was in agony, but that's just because his head wasn't in the right spot, so to say.
And feel the weight of Galactus too, because sometimes it's really difficult to personify Galactus because he's so massive that sometimes he can just feel like this kind of big buffoon, basically, and not really get the weight of what a being this size could actually do simply by falling. Right. And we see like the ground shake, and even like in perspective, honestly, I'm looking at this now just for reference. I didn't even notice Thor in the panel when I first read it. He's so minuscule in scale compared to Galactus. It just puts in perspective, like this man like is falling on top of the kingdom of Asgard, like all of it, not just like a couple buildings or whatever. Like this is most
half of freaking Asgard.
Yeah,
it's almost like that one obese person that like takes up half the airplane, but I shouldn't have said that.
Half the airplane? What are these?
Anyway, you do get
you get the point. You get the point.
Galactus. You get just the scale of him, but he's calling for help. He's not there to attack Asgard. He needs Thor's help. So as he's passing out, he utters a warning, and then he passes out.
Right. He mentions the Black Winter is coming, which is a big part of this arc, and is going to be a big part of Donny Cates' Thor. Even though we haven't seen the Black Winter since this first arc, we will be seeing it in arcs to come, because if you know Donny Cates, he's very much in like that Hickman style of you have to know what I'm talking about. You got to pick up on the little things, and loves to hide things. So that was definitely like a good head nod to what's yet to come. Also, it's like you really want to question what is so powerful to make Galactus come to Thor for help.
Yeah, it's we see Thor like and Thor, he's fearless. You could call him the man without fear even. So he's like Galactus falls and he's instantly in just attack mode. He's like Galactus, he's like dare, and he's like about to strike him with lightning, and Galactus is like please stop. And he's like the Star Plague, the Great Black Winter, and we see the Tree of Life it's begun to die. And then we get this kind of council of people Thor has assembled. We see Thor. We see the Cosmic Ghost Rider. I'm going to keep it a full stack. I have no idea who those other 4 people are. If you'd like to enlighten me.
With the other Heralds, I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah,
I really only see Cosmic Ghost Rider there. And then we're gonna see
comes in.
Yeah, and then we're gonna see Norrin come in a little bit.
Of course, the Silver Surfer comes in, and during this council, Thor's discussing like this cataclysmic event. And what Donny Cates really loves to do is not totally rechange a character's origin story, but enhance it, just sprinkle in small details. We saw this in Venom, and here, Silver Surfer says, "Do you guys know how Galactus was born?" And then the Cosmic Ghost Rider says, he was like some unknown cataclysm destroyed his universe, and Silver Surfer says no. The Star Plague, the Blight Storm, the Rot Blizzard, the end, the true end, the Black Winter. That's what birthed Galactus. So Donny Cates is of course he's not totally just retconning Galactus's history. He's enhancing it. He's bringing new things to light, and he's using that to drive the conflict of the story. It's just phenomenal.
He's genius.
Yeah, it's wicked good.
Right. And that definitely leaves Thor a lot of questions, because as Galactus mentioned in the previous page, at the end of everything, he saw Thor being there with him, so he wants to make Thor his new herald. So that's why Thor was consulting the other heralds a lot in the hall. So later Thor is like kind of like contemplating everything with himself. And he goes out with the other heralds in Asgard to confront Galactus, and he tells Galactus to yield.
He tells him to kneel, which is
right,
sick.
Which is cool, which is really cool. And then we see everything getting picked up by Silver Surfer, obviously being kind of nullified in the Black symbiote, which Donny Cates, of course, set up in Silver Surfer Black, which is also a fantastic book that you guys should read. I don't know if Ryan or Chad have read that, but
I read the first issue.
It's really good. It was
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I just have so much, but I'm going to definitely. I've read the first volume of Thor, and I'm definitely gonna dive into the Donny Cates cosmic universe after this. But yeah, the Silver Surfer basically, and I love the Silver Surfer because he often really doesn't side with the heroes because he has morality, but he has a more Machiavellian the ends justify the means kind of attitude. He's more unfeeling than a lot of the heroes on Earth. In a way, it's a bit difficult to explain, but I hope I'm conveying the message I'm trying to convey. But basically, he says like, look, Galactus is look. We have this Black Winter that is, to our knowledge, the end of everything. So we cannot do anything against it. We only have one thing that has proven to even withstand the Black Winter, and that's Galactus. So we need to kind of juice up Galactus. And then somebody's like, oh, God, you're going to juice up like our big enemy? And he's like, it's our only shot, basically. And so Thor's like, all right, but I'm coming with.
Right, and then there's like this whole ceremony, and Thor becomes the Herald of Thunder, which is why we have the whole costume change, looking very cosmic, which I wanted to talk about earlier. Because when I was reading this book initially, when I first picked it up, we were all kind of, or even when the news dropped of Thor's new costume, we were definitely getting cosmic vibes. Being that a lot of like the Captain Universe look was embedded into the costume, but this was definitely a huge surprise that he's turning into the Herald of Galactus, which I think is really cool, and it's something we've never seen from Thor before. So that was really cool. Chad, what did you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's Thor is basically getting stir crazy at being in Asgard. So of course, adventure comes knocking and he takes it up. I thought that I almost was like, okay, like I from Thor's perspective, like a king in reality should be helping like repair the city that just got destroyed. So it shows that Thor is not a good king per se. Even he's still that adventuring guy, and that's not to say he's a bad leader. It's just at like face value, Thor should be leading in the recovery from this disaster. Instead, he goes adventuring. But I do love the design of Thor, and you do see the symbol from the Tree of Life on Thor's outfit. I think that's the axe. That's what they call it.
Yeah, the thing above his throne.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like a symbol. And I thought it was great that they just incorporated that onto Thor's costume, and it's his hair is much, it's huge and puffy. It almost looks like Wolverine's, but it's very much like Thor's got that yellow blonde hair, and Odin had that white hair, and his hair is turning white. So it's as he becomes more like the All Father, as he has Odin's powers. This is Thor at his most powerful when he also becomes the Herald of Thunder, a Herald of Galactus, which is in and of itself a powerful title. As a herald, you're one of the most powerful beings in the universe. So Thor, it's almost like Thor amped up to not 11 but like 15. He's on steroids here, and I personally just love the reveal at the end there.
And then something I said earlier right before the show is Donny Cates takes what you don't even know you want and he gives it to you. Thor imbued with the power cosmic, becoming the Heralds of Galactus. Never in a million years would I have ever thought of that. And now that it's here, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. When we move on to the next issue, I never thought in a million years, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it, Frank Castle becoming Ghost Rider. I never in a million years.
Ryan, bro.
Okay, if people are clicking off after I spoiled that, then
No, I'm
the
kidding.
is loyal. But
Um,
basically, Frank Castle is the freaking Ghost Rider, the spirit of vengeance. It makes complete sense, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, speaking of that, let's go ahead and segue into that. This is, of course, as I said earlier, Thanos number 16. This is part of the whole Thanos. This is part of the Thanos wins arc by Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw. Like I said, I already gave a head nod to their other works that they have done. Oops, my headphones fell out. I just completely knocked my headphones right out. Save that for the blooper reel. But anyway, we see Frank Castle along with the other Avengers. Why Frank Castle is even there in the first place means that everything must be at the worst for the Avengers to say, hey, Frank Castle, we need you. I don't think the Avengers have said that to him since Civil War, when Captain America was literally dragged back to his compound by the Punisher. Read Civil War, it's essential. But we see everyone kind of battling Thanos, and this is like the last battle that Thanos has. We see Sentry, we see Hulk, we see Cap, we see the Punisher, of course, because he's in the Spider-Woman, Iron Man. So we see a lot of the new Avengers also added in with Doctor Strange in the costume that Donny Cates used during his run, not what Mark Waid was doing at the time, because no one cared for Mark Waid's series, and I hate to say it because I love Mark Waid, but no one cared for his Doctor Strange series. That quickly became an accident miniseries after it was an ongoing. So, it's a Doctor Strange book. They all accidentally become miniseries at some point. But, right? That's what I'm saying. So anyway, Thanos is just killing everybody. He kills Spider-Man, kills the Hulk, rips Iron Man in half. And Frank says, hey, I would love to get one more shot to kill this bastard. And none other than Mephisto answers. So
it's so great.
Anything?
He's like, as he lay dying, and the Mad Titan slaughtering his planet. It's like this operatic language. He's like, Frank Castle thought of one thing and one thing only. I would give anything to punish that purple son of a bitch. To which the universe replied,
anything. So Mephisto's like, so anything, right? You got me, right?
And now, honestly, what the way Punisher dies in the book is some debris, some bricks from a building fall on his head, and that kills him. Personally, I thought that was a little bit lackluster for the Punisher's death, but the way it just transitions right into that Mephisto answering anything, I forgot all about that. So I was like, what?
Someone who snipes from a building, one day it's gonna fall on him.
It was just kind of like, Iron Man's getting ripped in half. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are getting freaking cosmic blasted, and the Punisher dies by a stray rock. It's like,
but then just following it up with Mephisto saying anything, and of course he makes a deal with the devil and becomes Ghost Rider. And this is, instead of just being Frank Castle, this is more like almost a Deadpool kind of character. He's more quippy and outlandish, and he's kind of just hell yeah, dude! Literally hell yeah, dude! Riding as a messenger of death. And,
definitely playing that heavy metal shit.
Yeah,
I could see him rocking to some Def Leppard. I could totally see him.
Maybe Metallica.
No, he's playing Def Leppard. He's playing Def Leppard.
Def Leppard? Yeah, Def Leppard
either one
for this guy.
Too soft. Yeah, Def Leppard is too soft.
He's rocking to Metallica, but we don't have to worry about the Cosmic Ghost Riders.
No, that is a good question. What is he listening to?
He's listening to Led Zeppelin 4. He's listening to I don't know. He's listening to Rage Against the Machine.
No, he's listening to Slayer, dude. Let's be real. He's listening to
Sandman.
It's been decided he's listening to Def Leppard. If you guys want to disagree with me, do it in the comments below.
I'm disagreeing with you on the actual broadcast.
What is Frank Castle as the Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance? What music is he listening to? Now, it's some sort of metal. What kind? Leave in the comments.
But,
Donny Cates, if you're watching this, I know you watch my show.
Does he actually?
Yeah, man, every day.
Donny Cates, you are so handsome. I love you. Please mentor me in your ways. But but basically, Chad's absolutely right. He has this Deadpool kind of vibe. But what I do appreciate is, look, I'm gonna keep it a full stack. I've already made my. Maybe people hate me even more after this because I hate the X-Men. Literally, I was driving with my dad today, and we were in the car for about 25 minutes, and I did not stop talking for 25 minutes about how much I despise the X-Men. Honestly, your campaign to make me read them has made me despise them even more.
You haven't even read them, dude.
Yeah, the fact that I have to go back to like the early 60s to read them.
No, you don't.
Oh, what am I going to start with, the 8 timelines and House and Powers of X? Am I going to watch them terraform Mars? I have to understand all 56 characters that have been part of the team? Am I going to have to spend time in a school, then in a forest, then in a random warehouse for a fight?
You know how I started reading the X-Men? I picked up a random issue and I started reading.
Oh wait, yeah, I can't wait to read Scott Lobdell on it. I'm thrilled.
I did not read Scott Lobdell. I actually read Tom Taylor's X-Men Red is the first X-Men I ever picked up. So
all right, that's fine. I'll read X-23 if I want to read something Tom Taylor and X-Men.
Then read it.
Well, I mean,
no,
Ryan,
because there's so many better things.
I started reading Daredevil through Mark Waid, and that is the most off-color Daredevil run ever, yet at least. And I was still able to love and enjoy the character. And when I went back and saw his history, it made me appreciate that more. So I don't think you have to start at the very beginning. You could Gary Duncan just jumped on the book. We could probably read his first issue and not have a total understanding.
You can read Jim Lee and Chris Claremont's X-Men #1 from 1990.
Oh, great. 30 years.
You can read Grant Morrison's new X-Men. You're a stan for Grant Morrison. You can read their X-Men.
I'll read that. Doesn't mean I enjoy the character. You think I gave a damn about Venom before I read Donny Cates' run? My point is I don't.
Venom was tight. What do you mean?
No,
anyway, everyone in the hashtag, everyone in the comments, this has been a trending thing when we were live. Make Ryan read X-Men. Let's continue the hashtag.
It's never going to happen. But the point I'm trying to make is I hate Deadpool. There's never any substance. Very few Deadpool stories have actual inner meaning, and it's basically just dick jokes and fourth wall breaks, which, to each their own. But I don't really dig that.
You don't like dicks? Nightwing would be very disappointed in you.
This, all right, Donny Cates could be watching this, and I want him to have a good impression of me. Okay, but
Dick Grayson enters the chat, Ryan.
But basically, he is quippy. But what I do appreciate is it's still Frank Castle, but kind of like Scott Snyder death metal, like kind of like the spirit of Ghost Rider has. The spirit of Ghost Rider has made him careless, made him more quippy, made him less kind of like dark and vengeful. He's still dark and vengeful, but he's kind of quippy about it. Later in the book, for instance, Galactus is describing Thanos' rampage throughout the universe.
Well, let's talk about that more, right? As we're going into the story. So
it's part of my point now. So I continue. Whatever, it's all right.
So let's keep going with the story. So as Frank is scrolling through town listening to his Def Leppard, as we decided, Galactus shows up.
He's such a pussy, dude. Def Leppard is the most metal thing you can think of.
Keep those P words out of your mouth.
All right, we move.
So Galactus shows up wanting to conquer Earth. He's like, Reed, I came back for you. And Frank's like, it's just me. Thanos came. And they're talking about it. He's like, well, what about everyone else? He's like, Thanos still came and he killed everyone. And he's like, damn, that sucks. And then Ghost Rider's like, yeah, let's team up. Let's kill them together. And Galactus like, yeah, bet. And they kind of shake on it. So that was a really cool moment because it just shows how the commitment is for Galactus and how much you really want to compare who has wanted to kill Earth more times between Thanos and Galactus. You can obviously put Dormammu in there if you really want to get into details, but just those two characters alone it just shows that kind of dynamic. It shows that Donny understands what he's doing. Also, he loves playing with his gods, so why not take two of the most notorious villains in the Marvel universe and kind of make them rivals? So they agree to kind of team up. in this great little funny moment. Now the dialogue is so great. It's so well
and
written.
like the whole time Frank Castle as Ghost Rider has been losing his mind because he's been alone on this desolated Earth for centuries. So he at one point he asked Galactus like, "All right, like before we team up, you're real, right? Like you're not just some figure. Like I'm not going to show up to fight Thanos and it's just going to be me, right?"
Yeah.
And Galactus is like, "No, like I'm real. Like let's do this." But like honestly, Galactus could have been a figment of of Frank's imagination for all the good he did in that fight.
And now we're at the point where I can make my highlight the joke. But like we basically have two panels of Galactus describing to Frank like all the horror that has been unleashed on the universe. He's like, all of them are dead. They're dead. He wiped out this empire, and these guys are dead, and everyone's dead. And he's basically like, well, everyone's dead, and we're kind of effed. And like basically, Galactus is standing there, and he's a pea compared to Galactus, and he's like, well then, looks like we both want that bitch dead, huh? It's so
purple bitch dead. Yeah.
It's just so funny.
That purple bitch dead.
But that's still like, ironically, like that still sounds like Frank Castle. Like that's something Frank Castle would say, but it's just like a bit more quippy, which I do enjoy.
Right. And the dialogue in both of these books are just so well thought, so well written. This just proves how much of a great writer Donny Cates is. Now, I know a lot of people were not reading this book at the start of Donny Cates' career in Marvel. Definitely go back and do it because there are just so many great moments in there that Donny does. I actually think his Guardians is one of my favorite books that I've read in a very long time. Yeah, so anyway, they're going to find Thanos, they're going to fight him, and then they show up, and Thanos slices Galactus' head off clean.
Just like first shot.
First shot. Boom.
There goes Galactus.
So
I love the design, by the way, of Cosmic Ghost Rider. The skull in the armor. I love the kind of and
he has like the kind of like the breathing tube, right? Kind of like a Mr. Freeze cryo chamber tube. Just so he can breathe.
Mr. Freeze fishbowl helmet. I love the spikes suit. I love the spikes. I love the chain. I love how it's less kind of like he's wearing a leather jacket and just flames. He's just like contained with it's so futuristic, and I love it.
Right.
It made me want to dress like that, but then I realized,
this is America, and we're not allowed to do it.
I'm not a well, no, I'm not a flaming skull head was my main concern.
I don't know. Maybe we started talking about X-Men. You could turn into one, but
oh, dude, you'll see that. You'll see the steam. You'll see the steam. Don't worry.
I'm counting on it, bro. So anyway, like we see from a distance, Norrin Radd is looking, and as Cosmic Ghost Rider and Thanos make a deal because Thanos like, dude, I have so much more shit for you to do that you can get revenge on. He's like, I'll do it. I got nothing better to do. So he becomes the Rider, the black right hand man of the Mad King Thanos. So you know how Thanos has like his Black Order. Cosmic Ghost Rider is now the leading person of it. So they go from dimension to dimension, kind of with multiple Thanoses. How do you say it? Multiple Thanos, like one fish, two fish. What? One Thanos, two Thanos, three Thanos, four.
Yeah.
Red Thanos, blue Thanos, but yeah.
Purple Thanos, more. Not gonna get it. Just gotta finish the rhyme there. But we just see them fighting a bunch of people, and Norrin Radd shows up. Silver Surfer Black still, so Donny Cates still plugging his own shit, and Thanos sees him, and he's like, "So, what took you so long?" And then we get to like the whole dump, and he says, in like one word, "I was working on becoming worthy," and he's holding up Mjolnir. With his Silver Surfer board, which is so iconic because if you've read King in Black, you know how the two were able to bond together. But that was just something that I didn't think was already established that we saw in King in Black. But it just proves how great Donny Cates is of a writer. And we end with that. So you can easily go pick up these issues, and well, you're gonna pay a little bit more. So I would just pick up the trade. You can find Thanos by Donny Cates and Jeff Lemire on for $35. You can also find this in an omnibus with all of Donny Cates' other cosmic work, or you can just buy this trade. Probably dirt cheap now because it's been reprinted so many times.
Marvel reprinting something
is actually very common nowadays.
What?
Actually, they're reprinting a lot of their stuff because like it'll start in a hardcover, then it'll go paperback. But Marvel's
the current
starting to reprint. It's the only character they won't reprint is Spider-Man. That's the only thing they won't reprint.
Daredevil.
I'm
They're
hoping for
reprinting Daredevil.
Daredevil.
They're reprinting Daredevil. Except here's the thing: Daredevil doesn't sell enough for them to need a reprint, right?
I can't find anything.
Well, what are you looking for?
Born Again, dude. It's not. You can't buy a new Born
You
Again.
can't find
anywhere.
Born Again because it's probably in the companion omnibus that they put out and no one bought. So they said, "Why are we going to reprint this?"
Because you shouldn't have to buy a companion omnibus to read the best
Then
story.
email Marvel. Yeah,
What?
I mean, I said an email Marvel. No, they did. No, it was in Frank Miller's volume 3 of Born Again.
You
right?
can't. Volume 3's out of print though.
Right.
So volume 3's out of print, and I'm not
Born
spending
Again is not.
$70.
Born Again is not collected in the Frank Miller volumes 1,
Didn't
2, or 3.
Didn't they just release the Miller and Sienkiewicz hardcover? Didn't that have Born Again in it?
The Masterworks?
Yeah. No, it wasn't the Masterworks. It was a hardcover. It was a Daredevil, and it was a Daredevil by Mazzucchelli, Sienkiewicz, and Frank Miller that was released, I believe, in a hardcover a while ago.
Yeah, but Born Again is like 5 issues. It should be a
it should be out there. It should be out there like Batman Year One and Long Halloween and Dark Knight Rises. I get it, but Marvel
Dark Knight Rises.
But here's the thing, right? DC is much better at having like their iconic stories and making sure that it's in every local comic shop, except for some reason mine just doesn't carry the Long Halloween. I was like, Jesus,
you can find it so easy.
I can find it, but it's like I would rather give you guys a business. So I mean, they're ordering me a copy, so it's whatever. But anyway, back to the whole point of this show, Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame. Now, again, I do want to point out that if you are looking for Thanos 16 and a floppy, you're going to pay a little bit more than you are getting for Thanos, or not for Thanos, for Thor number 1. However, that's not the purpose of this episode. The purpose is which Herald of Galactus is better, Cosmic Ghost Rider or Thor? Chad, what is your vote?
I have to go with Thor. Donny Cates, everything he touches is just hot fire. I mean, everything.
With this is literally hot fire.
Is literally hot fire. His Venom run is symbiote fire. His Thor run is lightning in a bottle. His everything Donny Cates does is so good.
Demon in a bottle.
Honestly, what Thor has going for it is that it is 10 pages longer than the Thanos issue. So Thanos is like 22 pages. Thor is 34. So more Donny Cates is just more better stuff. So I would always take more better stuff over less better stuff any day. But even if these were the same length for the story that it tells, I think the Thor story is just a little bit more fulfilling. Because the Thanos story is like this wild cosmic ride. There's a lot going on. But Thor is more of a character driven. It's a little bit slower paced because he's setting up his whole arc. So he has time to delve into Thor, delve into what Thor's thinking, the world of Thor, his advisors, and just the way he handles Thor is just he's really able to get in there. And meanwhile, Thanos is more just like balls to the wall actions, stuff that you didn't know you want, but there it is, like with the Silver Surfer holding Mjolnir. It's also fantastic.
Mjolnir. Thank you.
And my ancestors worshipped these people. I'm allowed to pronounce it however I want. But basically, I mean, Thor is just it's a character-driven story, and it made me want to just keep reading Thor until I'm done with it. Basically, it made me a fan of Thor, and I'm thinking about buying now, the collected oversized hardcover of Thor. And Thanos was great too, but it's just Thor was something very, very special.
I mean, yeah, I see it. I mean, I get your point. Ryan, what's your vote? Ryan.
I'm listening. Would
you like me to go first?
Yeah, go.
I can't. So, all right. So, these two stories, as Chad was saying, were very much different, way differently paced, different goals, different agendas. However, I genuinely enjoy Cosmic Ghost Rider as the better Herald. Yeah, there was more action to it. I think the art was a lot more flowy. Both were fantastic reads. I highly recommend both of these, but I'm gonna go with Thanos number 16. I think it gave us more of a dynamic of what Galactus wants, what his goals are. I also think that Cosmic Ghost Rider was just way cooler. Just as that his costume is better. I think the language that they used between their dynamics were a lot more meaningful, and I think that Thanos played a cool little role in there. Also, Silver Surfer Black was in both issues, but I really thought his presence was more bringing in this issue in Thanos 16. So I'm gonna go with Thanos. So Ryan's the tiebreaker. All on you, bro. Also,
right.
let us know your vote in the comments below. Did we make the right call?
As Chad knows, I have a real soft spot for the Punisher. I really love the Punisher.
Oh, so you're gonna agree with me?
Hold your horses. I really love the Punisher. And look, I was born in 2002. All right. We didn't have great superhero movies, but we had the Ghost Rider movies. And I mean, we had Sam Raimi, but don't worry about that. But I love Ghost Rider, right? I've always really liked Ghost Rider. So you take the Punisher, who is one of kind of my favorite, has become one of my favorite comic book characters, weirdly. Maybe I need a psychological analysis, but I really do love the Punisher. I've actually started just for fun, fan writing a Punisher series. And I love Ghost Rider. And when they mix, I just really love a quippy Frank Castle. But we're judging which issue was better. And it is undoubtedly Thor number 1. But let me make this very clear.
I thought Thanos 16 was the better issue, to be very honest.
But let me be very clear. This is what issue's better. Now, after this is over, I'm going to consume any piece of Cosmic Ghost Rider media I can. I'm going to look up pictures. I'm going to, save them to my camera roll. I'm going to read the miniseries. I'm going to read Donny Cates' Thanos. I'm going to consume every piece of Cosmic Ghost Rider media I can, because Frank Castle as freaking Ghost Rider, that is my dreams come true. But Chad, I completely agree with Chad. I love a personal story. I love the dynamic between Thor and Loki, even if it's half a page. It's so powerful. I love the art. I love Galactus just crumbling, and I love the concept of people perceive Galactus in different ways. And it's the same way as the Black Winter, and Galactus perceived it as Thor and imbuing him with the power cosmic. It was really cool. But by a wafer thin margin, I'm going to go with Thor number 1.
Wow.
So you've been outvoted. You've been outvoted, Brandon.
Wow, I've been outvoted. I think this is the first time that this has happened. I think maybe it happened before. I just don't remember.
I don't think you have been. I think it's mostly been. I think since we've been on the show, it's been complete agreement.
I think there was one issue where he got outvoted.
I think you guys outvoted me, actually.
Well, yeah, that's because usually Chad and I are on the same page, Ryan. We usually disagree, but we'll be doing if this works better pre-recorded. Let us know if you guys want this to be live. Let us know. If it does go back to live, it'll be at 8:00 Eastern time every Monday. No, every. Do we do the show Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
We do it every Monday. I don't even know. But other announcements on the channel. If you guys want to stick around for another minute of your time, John Romita Jr. will be on the show July 21st, followed by Kare Andrews launching his Amazing Fantasy last Wednesday in July. He will be on that Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely tune in for more Creators Corner. Make sure you guys sub up to Ryan and Chad. They are doing a lot of stuff. So if I'm not posting on YouTube, they are. And you guys can just bounce back and forth between our two channels. Do I have to get the fedora out? All right, you guys. We will see you guys next time.